Hey, welcome to Two Old Geeks Talking. I'm Rob.
And I'm Trace.
And today we'll be discussing
Disney Star Wars. And we actually had a request from Jack Mitchell, one of our subscribers. Just want to give him a shout out. He wanted to have us do Disney Star Wars. And guess what?
Jack?
We will. We're going to. Okay, so where do we start? First of all, what did you think when you found out that Disney had purchased Star Wars from Lucasfilm?
Probably the same way everybody else did. I knew for a fact that it was going to become a super conglomerate because Disney's really good at merchandising everything. But it kind of scared me on how true to the originals it would be. I didn't know if they were going to take it into more of a kiddie kind of friendly thing, if they were still going to have, the lasers blast and stuff like that. I didn't know, but I was spooked.
I mean, for me, I thought it was great, and I was all on board. And the reason I was is because I've always viewed Star Wars as family films. Some people want hardcore, rated R Star Wars, and there's a place for that in science fiction. But to me, Star Wars has always been family films. Didn't matter if you were a kid, if you were a parent, if you were a grandparent, you could enjoy it. So when I think of family films, I think of Disney. So with Lucas not wanting to make any more films and wanting to pass the baton on so that other generations could enjoy new Star Wars, I really couldn't think of a better company than Disney to do that. So I was 100% on board. I thought that was a fantastic idea.
You had no trepidations at all?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, they'd had live action family films. They'd had the animation family films. Certainly they were a big company and had the money to do Star Wars and do Star Wars right. So I was on board. So the very first thing that we got from Disney Star Wars was The Force Awakens. So what did you think about that when you saw it?
Let's see. Thought it was good. Was kind of concerned about certain aspects of it, especially when they killed off Han Solo, which is my favorite. It upset me, but it was a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, I thought The Force Awakens was fantastic. I think that JJ was able to make me feel like an 11-year-old kid again. That's not easy to do.
Right.
But I mean, I like the way that you kind of thought Finn was going to be the Jedi from the trailers, but it ended up being Rey, and that was a surprise, a pleasant surprise. And I like BB-8. I thought that was a fantastic droid design. I like the actors. I like them using Luke as a MacGuffin. And at the end of that movie, I just wanted more. And I just thought it was great all the way around.
So you were completely happy with Kylo Ren? And
Yes.
see, when I first seen Kylo Ren, I was like, they're just trying to come up with a new Darth Vader.
To me,
and that's basically what Star Wars has always been. To me, has not been a Skywalker story as much as it has been a Vader story.
I see your point. I mean, with me, when I looked at Kylo Ren and I looked at the First Order, I like JJ's take in that you have neo-Nazis now. People that, believe it or not, worship Hitler. And they fly the flags and they wear the shirts and they look at him as a hero. Well, I liked his take on the First Order and Kylo Ren because he looked at Vader. Like most people looked at Vader as the biggest villain in the universe. Mm-hmm. He worshipped Vader, had his mask, talked to it. He was direct lineage. He was his grandfather. And the way that Hutz made his speech to the First Order and the way they were all standing, it was like Hitler-esque, the way he was standing up there. And so I really like the fact that, yeah, this evil had been defeated in the universe, but you've got people here that didn't think it was evil. From their point of view, from a certain point of view, they thought it was a good thing, and they worshiped this evil guy, Vader. So I thought that was a really interesting take. So really the only criticism anybody ever had, I thought, of The Force Awakens, was that It's too much like A New Hope. It's too much like A New Hope.
And at first I thought they were regurgitating A New Hope. I thought, well, they're going to make 3 new movies and they're going to be identical to the first 3 movies.
But to me, there was enough of a difference there. And I mean, to me, if that's the biggest criticism you can have,
Right.
is this thing in the past that I love so much, this new thing is just like that old thing I loved. That's your biggest criticism. To me, if that's the only criticism you get, I mean, to me, every James Bond movie, it's been a James Bond movie. You know, Transformers, Fantastic Four, Indiana Jones. I mean, you got these franchise of movie, and they all have the same flavor, but maybe a little different spice. To me, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. So I liked Force Awakens. You was just kind of liked it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, whenever I go to something like that, I always put myself in a skeptic type of mind so I can be pleasantly surprised. I don't want to go in there expecting the best and be disappointed. I usually go to the movie expecting the worst so I can be somewhat pleased. You know.
So the next product that we got from Disney was Rogue One.
Now, I loved Rogue One.
Rogue One was, to me, it was right up there with Force Awakens. To me, Force Awakens was a home run.
Right.
Rogue One was a home run. I thought it was a fantastic movie.
The reason I loved Rogue One so much was because it took place in the same realm, same era as like The New Hope.
Yeah.
But they didn't milk The New Hope to make this. It was its own standing story. We kind of already knew the story because of The New Hope, but this just elaborated on it. So I really liked that.
Yeah, I liked the fact that, first of all, it was a new story. It added to the mythos. It actually solved a major problem. In A New Hope, one of the things that you always wondered is why did you build this huge Death Star, this huge battle station, but just one torpedo down one little shaft will destroy the whole thing? So Rogue One, you know, they brought up a plot point that the designer put it in there on purpose, and he hid it, and he let the rebels know about it. So that was an interesting take, and it kind of fixed a plot hole. Plus the way it dovetailed right into A New Hope. You can watch Rogue One and watch A New Hope. They just dovetail right into each other. And to me, that's good filmmaking. It didn't take away from Star Wars, it added to Star Wars.
Right.
So I'm a huge Rogue One fan. I think that was great. And so the next product we got from Force Awakens, from Disney Star Wars. And before we go, before we move on to something else, the soundtrack by John Williams.
Oh.
John Williams is like one of the best composers,
Right.
if not one of the best composers. I happen to like Howard Shore more.
Okay.
He did the Lord of the Rings, but John Williams is phenomenal, and lots of times people aren't appreciated until they're dead.
Right.
You know, but his work in the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, and the sequel trilogy is flawless. Best thing about the sequel trilogy, in my mind, John Williams.
The man had a way of, you could watch a scene without music and it might be entertaining, but the music kind of grasps the emotion and the feeling and kind of helps you narrate through it. He's done that with Indiana Jones, so many other movies. The man was just kick butt at his job. He knew what he was doing and knew how to do it.
Yeah, he was a fantastic composer. So another product we kind of got on the side was Rebels, and it kind of took over where the Clone Wars ended. And it was produced by Disney. It was more kiddie. Of course, so were the Clone Wars when it first started out. You never watched Clone Wars, did you?
I watched some of the earlier ones, the very first ones, but I never got as far as those.
But Dave Filoni, he was the man that was over the Clone Wars. He was over Rebels. The stories got better as they went along. There's a story where old Darth Maul meets old Ben Kenobi.
Right.
And there's a picture on the back. That was one of the best stories of all. Of course, I'm a Kenobi fan anyway. But the way they met and the way their last battle was like a samurai.
Okay, so I looked that up on YouTube.
Yeah.
I had to watch it.
YouTube, I've heard of that.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've heard of YouTube. Yeah, that was good. What got me most about the scene wasn't the. I know it's crazy. Wasn't the dialogue? Wasn't the art? It was the way they had Kenobi stand. When he hit that certain stance, he was like, yeah, that's his move.
So the next product Disney had come out with was The Last Jedi, made by Ryan Johnson. So anyway, so that movie was, well, first of all, what did you think of that movie? Well, here, let me tell you what I thought about it. That movie was freaking horrible.
Oh,
It was terrible. The bases are loaded, okay? The bases are loaded. You've had a home run with Force Awakens. You've had a home run with Rogue One. Ryan Johnson, he comes into the stadium, okay? JJ gives him a slow pitch. Here comes a baseball coming through the air. Ryan, everybody in the stands, all the fans know Ryan's going to hit a home run. That's the reason the movie made so much money. We enjoyed the movies before that. So the bases are loaded. You got Rey's parentage on first. On second, you've got Snoke's backstory. And on third base, you've got Luke Skywalker, which was teased at the end of The Force Awakens. And we are dying to see Master Skywalker kick some butt. Bases are loaded. Balls coming through there. JJ couldn't have set up Ryan better. And so Ryan's choked up on the bat. The ball's coming. We're all in anticipation. And Ryan just drops the bat. He just drops the bat. And we're like, what? And he catches the baseball. And we're like, what? And he pulls his pants down and he shoves that baseball right up his own butthole. And he stands there and he's like, hey, you wasn't expecting that, was you? And we're all like, no, we wasn't expecting that. And then all the fans start to leave the stands, and Ryan's like, where are you going? Where are you going? What's the matter? You know, I mean, what do you think about it?
Oh, first of all, I don't like the fact. I understand now why Luke was in seclusion, why he was grumpy, but for him to have worked his whole life and been such a positive person through all these movies, through all these triumphs, all these turmoils that he went through, he always stayed positive. That there at the very end, he was just some, what's the word I'm looking for? Curmudgeon?
Grumpy old man.
Grumpy old man.
Yeah.
And when he went and milked that thing on the shore and started drinking that milk, I was like, what the hell was they thinking?
You got Mary Poppins, Princess Leia. They had all this gender politics. Every man in the movie was just stupid and just there as a prop to show you how smart the women were. I mean, it was horrible. And I mean, you know, I was tickled to death when I found out there was going to be a female Jedi. My daughter and I, we share a love for Star Wars. And so, you know, there wasn't a lot of female Jedi, none in the original trilogy. Just a handful in the background of the prequel trilogy. So to have a female Jedi, I mean, I made a T-shirt for my daughter when she was younger, and made it myself because they didn't have something that said "Girls make the best Jedi." I had some Dave Dorman art on it from a comic series called The Old Republic, and she used to wear it like a sleep shirt. So I mean, the fact that they were going to have a female Jedi, you know, me and her always see the movies together. Mm-hmm. So me and Eve, we were tickled to death over that fact. But then they ruined the character because automatically she's good at everything. There's something in the movies called a hero's journey, where the hero finds out about the universe they live in, they struggle, they fail, they overcome those obstacles, and they go on to be successful. It's called the hero's journey. It's in mythology. George Lucas understood it. You saw it with Luke, and so you with Rey, she just was automatically good at everything. And so there's no character development there. There's no struggle there. And so it was a terrible movie. And the worst thing Disney did was when the movie came out, it got bad reviews. So the critics liked it, all 90 of them on Rotten Tomatoes, and then thousands upon thousands didn't like it on the audience score. Disney decides to attack the fans. They post pictures online of some of their employees drinking from coffee cups, and it says the fans' tears on there.
Crap.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
So they were calling them man babies and racist and sexist and all those things. You feel like you have to defend yourself if somebody calls you that. When in reality, we just didn't like the product they put out. And there's something in business called the 80-20 rule. And what that is 20% of your customers buy 80% of your product. So you got a 20% loyal customers. And it doesn't carry over to every part of business, but most do. I work for a utility company. 20% of what we sell goes to like commercial accounts, big factories, stuff like that. So you want to take care of those people. So you got 20% of Star Wars fans that buy all this crap.
Right.
And we supported the films when there were no films. And we kept that spark alive. And we didn't like the product you put out. And then you attack us. So something come about called the Fandom Menace, which is a take on the Phantom Menace, which was the name of the first Star Wars Episode 1, the Phantom Menace. So the Fandom Menace come about through social media, YouTube, people linking up, sharing their hatred of The Last Jedi. And because it was truly a horrible, horrible film. Yeah. So we decided we wasn't going to go see the next Star Wars. It didn't matter how good it was. So the next product that come out was Solo. That was the next one. Had all kinds of production problems. It was the first Star Wars movie to lose money. And so you're a huge Han Solo fan, so what did you think of that?
I did not go to the theater to see it. I waited until it come out. I don't know where I seen it. I don't think I rented it. It was on like Netflix or something like that. And I liked Lando's story. Didn't much care for Han's story. Didn't like the gentleman that played Han. I mean, not that he was a bad actor. He just wasn't. He didn't seem like Han. And so, I mean, yeah. All in all, it was such a movie that I can't even remember half of it. Yeah, and it's not because I'm old.
Yeah, to me it was. You said exactly. It was just like meh.
Yeah,
it was meh.
Yeah.
You know, I saw it once. I don't care to see it again.
Yeah.
I certainly won't own it. I can't show you the tape because I don't have the tape. And but to me, yeah, it was a movie nobody asked for. To me, Harrison Ford's still around. He's Han Solo. If you wanted to make a standalone film, then you could do that off a small character in the background or a new character like you did with Rogue One. And but I'm glad it lost money because the only thing that Disney will understand is this. They can control the critics and they can control social media and they've got the money to do that. But they can control my wallet and I get to spend.
But they think they can.
Well, and maybe with some people they can.
That's why I didn't care for Disney when they took over Star Wars.
Well, I saw Solo, but I didn't pay a penny to see it because I wasn't going to pay a penny to see it because I was making a point. So the next Disney film was The Rise of Skywalker.
Still have not seen it.
Still haven't seen it?
Nope.
I saw it and I won't ruin it for you. But everything's split. You know, some people said they really like it. Some people said they don't. To me, it was another meh, like so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is supposed to be the final.
Yeah, the final one. But I mean,
and you're telling me it's a meh?
It's meh from this standpoint. Considering what JJ had to work with, he did a fantastic job because he had to pull the baseball out of Ryan's rear end, and he had to clean it up. And you know it's tough because the baseball. I don't know if you've seen one, got all those little threads on it. Yeah. Clean up. Finally, get to the point where he could put it back into play, and then try to finish the game with it. So bravo, JJ, and I feel for you. And you did a better job than anybody else could have done. But with what you had to work with, I mean, it was terrible. So Disney, they had a home run with The Rise of Skywalker, home run with Rogue One. Rebels was as good as Clone Wars, I thought. But they really dropped the ball on The Last Jedi, where they really dropped the ball, is that they, you hear something?
Yeah.
Where they really dropped the ball was that the way they attacked the fans. It was a bad movie, but you made it worse by attacking the fans. And The Rise of Skywalker was just smashed. But Disney's ended on a high note. That's The Mandalorian. So, tell me
Yeah,
what
oh,
you
yeah.
think.
What
do you think about The Mandalorian?
But I think the reason I enjoyed The Mandalorian so much is because it's got the aesthetics of Star Wars, but it's not A New Hope. It's not none of the typical things. It's kind of delving into a whole mythology of your Mandalorians, the race, this particular person, and of course, it's what we grew up with is sci-fi being trying to be westerns. A western being set in the sci-fi.
Yeah.
That I love it. Just
I do
eat
too.
it.
I think it's
Just eat it up.
fantastic. The creators are doing a great job on it. Taika Waititi, I think, directed one episode, and Jon Favreau, he's over top of the series. It just goes to show that, first of all, they tried to say when Solo flopped that, well, there's too much Star Wars out there. We put out too much at one time, and so we've oversaturated the market with Star Wars. But the fact is that we eat up Star Wars. You can put out a movie every month.
And I'm thinking that's what Disney was hoping with all these movies. They didn't put the effort into it, knowing that the fans are going to go see it. The fans are going to spend the money.
Yeah. But The Mandalorian, made after old westerns, great. If you hadn't seen it, it's on Disney Plus. It's worth getting Disney Plus just for that. And it's a great show. I think it's only going to get better. They got the right people doing it. So really, my score on Disney is kind of it's 50-50. You know what I mean? 50% of the stuff they've put out with I liked. 50% of the stuff they've come out with I don't.
Right.
And but anything else you want to add before we shut down?
Oh man, not that I was looking forward to it, but I was wanting to see how many Mandalorians was going to be at the cons this year because I knew there was going to be a ton of them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and now they've got even longer to work on their costumes.
Right.
Yeah, the Comic Cons have all been canceled.
Y'all should actually have jetpacks by the time we have a con.
Yeah, the Comic Cons have all been canceled because of this pandemic that we're not allowed to mention. But I mean, we're practicing social distancing. You know, we're like 6 feet and 1 inch apart, so you don't have to worry about us. We're going to be fine, right?
Right.
And but in closing, there was a guy did Photoshop, Steve Wayne Art, and he did this photo of Lando and Princess Leia and Luke and Han, all the actors he put together. And it was online for a while. They called it a Star Wars What Should Have Been. The fact that you had all those actors together and you didn't give us a scene like that, that's like maybe the greatest cinematic mistake in the history of cinema. And that's a shame. So Disney, you can do better, and we expect better.
Yeah.
So are you good?
I'm good. You good?
I think I'm good. I think we've talked about everything. I think I'm done. Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay, all right, we're done.